Hey, welcome back, everyone. The next topic we're going to cover is fixed and variable inputs. As we study economics or business in general, we're going to be looking at how we're going to convert inputs into outputs. So we turn inputs into an output. And while we're doing this, we have to look at the input side and we have to realize that there's two types of inputs. So there's two types of inputs. We have fixed inputs. These are inputs that do not change regardless of the number of outputs or the number of units we produce in output. So this does not change regardless of the amount of output produced. So fixed inputs, they're fixed. They never change. They do not change regardless of the amount of output produced. Okay. Examples of fixed inputs. I'm going to change my color here so we can see it. This would be things like land, certain machinery costs. Think of like a factory, uh, rent, insurance, uh, other things like that. This doesn't change regardless of how many units of output we make. Our other type of output of inputs are variable inputs. Variable inputs are inputs that do change with the number of outputs produced. Okay, an example of a variable input would be your raw materials. Think about a car. A variable input for that car would be the steel or aluminum they use to make the body. So raw materials, and that's your biggest thing. Another thing you'll have that's variable is labor. If you're, let's use this car example. It does a good job of explaining variable and fixed inputs. So to produce a car, some of your fixed inputs would be your factory and all the robots and things you have to buy to make those cars. But your variable inputs would be your raw materials, your steel, the paint, your leather for the interior, steering wheel, all the components that you have to have for to make that car, and your labor that it takes to put that car together. So just remember this as you're getting ready to take your exam. Fixed inputs don't change regardless of the number of outputs produced. Variable inputs do change with the number of outputs produced.